Look at these two photos. On the left, I'm miserable. I'm running 5 miles a day. I'm eating 1,500 calories, and still I look soft. I look depleted. On the right, that's me 50 pounds lighter, eating nearly double the food and barely touching a treadmill. If you're over 35 and you feel like you're fighting a losing war against your own metabolism, just stop. You aren't lazy, you aren't broken, you're just following a blueprint that's outdated. It's designed to make you fail. Today I'm gonna show you the exact metabolic reset that allowed me to drop 50 pounds by doing something most people think is impossible, eating more and training less. It's time to stop the grind and start the growth. I used to think that weight loss meant fighting my body, starving the man I wanted to become. For 15 years, I forced myself through a brutal cycle of extreme restriction, endless cardio, hours on the treadmill, night after night in the boxing gym, pushing my body way past its breaking point, while surviving on plants and a low-carb diet. The scale moved, sure, but I paid for it. I paid for it deeply in blood and burnout. I was a shell of a man back then, irritable, constantly exhausted. I was living on a metabolic cliff. And every time I hit my goal, I crashed, and the weight came roaring back. Because that level of suffering simply isn't sustainable. It wasn't discipline, it was survival mode. And eventually everyone breaks. I had to stop fighting my body. I finally started to win the war when I learned the cold hard truth. After 35, your body isn't a calculator. It's an adaptive survival machine. When you slash calories and crank up cardio, you aren't melting fat. You're telling your brain that food is scarce and stress is high. Your body responds by slowing your thyroid, dropping your leptin, and burning muscle for fuel. That's what I call the metabolic death spiral. You lose muscle that burns fat, which slows your metabolism even more. This forces you to eat even less the next week just to maintain your weight. You're literally running away from your goals on that treadmill. And you're destroying the engine that runs the process. So stop gambling with your health. The University of Minnesota's famous starvation experiment proves something important. Extreme calorie deficits don't just burn fat, they destroy muscle, and they tank your metabolism. I've seen people walk into our gym as metabolic wrecks because they ignored this. The newer research in the Journal of Applied Physiology confirms something critical. Resistance training combined with a higher protein intake is the most effective way to preserve lean muscle. And this isn't theory, it's physiology. Stop the guesswork. Start following the science. For me, it finally clicked on a Tuesday in July. I had finally finished my 4th run of the week. I was lightheaded, my joints hurt, and when I stepped on the scale, it hadn't moved in a month. And that's when it hit me. I was doing exactly what I've been doing for the last 10 years and getting the same result. So I burned it all down. I stopped the cardio immediately. I added 800 calories back into my daily intake, mostly from protein. And honestly, I was terrified. I thought I'd wake up the next morning 10 pounds heavier, but guess what? The opposite happened. Within 48 hours, the scale started dropping. 2 pounds here, another pound there. My energy exploded. And for the first time in years, I wasn't a victim of my diet. I was the architect of my metabolism. Everyone tells you to grind. I'm gonna tell you to recover. Most people over 35 are overtraining and under-recovering. This keeps your cortisol elevated all the time. And high cortisol is a magnet for stubborn belly fat, especially in men over 40. You're literally stressing fat onto your midsection. Training less frequently, but with more intensity, focusing on preserving muscle, that's what signals your body that it's safe to release fat. So stop trying to burn the calories in your workout. That's not the point. Your workout has one job: to signal your body to keep its muscle. The actual fat burning happens while you sleep, while you eat, while your body recovers. But only if you give it the fuel it needs to do so. Now, resting isn't lazy, it's strategic. The solution isn't another diet, it's a shift in mindset, from depletion to dominance. We used to think something called the muscle to metabolism ratio was extremely important. And guess what? It still is. Every pound of muscle you add or preserve increases your basal metabolic rate. That means your body burns more calories even when you're doing nothing. Playing with your kids, sitting on the couch, living your life. But to make that happen, You have to break the starve and sprint cycle. Increase your protein to at least 1 gram per pound of body weight. Reduce steady state cardio by about 70% and prioritize heavy compound lifts. I'm talking about squats, deadlifts, presses. When you feed the machine works for you. When you starve the machine shuts down. We're turning your body into a survival machine, into an athlete. Here's how you start today. First, audit your calories. Start increasing slowly. Add about 200 calories per day, mostly from lean protein. Second, kill the junk cardio. Replace those brutal hours of runs with 2 or 3 short walking sessions. About 20 minutes each is really all you need. And third, lift heavy 3 to 4 days a week. Resistance training is everything. Focus on movements that recruit the most muscles, like squats, deadlifts, and presses. Fourth, track recovery, not just reps. If you aren't sleeping at least 7 hours per night, your metabolism is still at war. This isn't a hack, it's rebuilding your hormonal environment. Stay resilient, stay consistent, and stop looking for shortcuts. The long way is the smart way. It is the only way that actually lasts. The old way is dead. I was burnt out on expert advice, but my transformation proves something important. This isn't about luck. It's about math. It's about biology. If you're ready to stop being a victim of fitness lies, you need to master the strength side of the fight. I refuse to let you give up. I won't quit on you, so keep swinging. If this helped you, do me a favor and like the video, drop a comment below. I read and reply to every single one because I want you to win. You can do this. Check out the next video in the series.